Shalom everybody, and welcome back. We're continuing where we left off in Rav Noson's discourse in Likutey Halakhot, section Orach Chaim, Hoda'ah, the laws of the blessings over Thanksgiving, discourse number 6, based on lesson 24. And just a quick reminder, if you have been enjoying these classes and they really boost you with the light of Rabbi Nachman, please share them on your status. We're holding at the point where Yaakov Avinu has seen the whole vision, the whole dream that Hashem wanted him to see about the ladder and Hashem's promises to him. And we're holding at the point where Yaakov wakes up. So the Torah on the Pshat says like this. This is the verse, Parashat Vayetze, chapter 28, verse 16. Vayikatz Yaakov mishenato vayomer. So Yaakov woke up from his sleep, his slumber, and he said the following: Achen, behold, yesh Hashem b'makom hazeh. Hashem is to be found in this place, because he didn't know he was sleeping on the place of the Holy of Holies. He was sleeping in the place that would eventually be considered the Holy of Holies. And since it will eventually be the holiest place in the universe, in the world, so already even before it happens, it already has a level of holiness there. And he says, V'anochi lo yadati, and I didn't know. So Rashi points out on the simple level, Anochi lo yadati, she'im yadati, because if I would have known that this place is the Holy of Holies, the Makom, lo yashanti b'makom kadosh kazeh, I would have not slept in such a holy place. Rav Noson wants to show that what Yaakov Avinu is saying here on a deeper level is what led him to have the merit of having that dream in the first place. How did he come to that perception of the ladder, which is being grounded on the earth, and the head reaching up to the top? If you remember, the whole dream started, before it happened, with the wording Vayifga b'makom, that Yaakov already traveled all the way up to Haran, to Aram, not Haran, and he came back. And the pasuk says Vayifga b'makom, and he bumped into that place where, on the deeper level, Rav Nosson is explaining, the makom is a reference to the highest perception possible in this physical existence, called bumping into the keter. The keter is that boundary between Hashem, the creator, the ma'atzil, and the creation, the ne'etzalim. It's that wall, and for anybody who's trying to go and connect, it bounces that person. And with the bounce back, a person then is able to perceive the infinite light, which is the Creator, the light of the Creator. Okay? So after this whole dream, so Yaakov Avinu goes back to using the original term of what happened in the first place. We said Vayifga b'makom, and he bumped into that place. He came back and he bumped into that place, and as we explained it. So now, after the dream, which is explaining the process, why he had to sleep, okay, and everything Hashem told him in the dream, all the promises and the whole idea of seeing the angels ups and down, going up and down the ladder, like we explained in the past classes, okay? So there's something here. Look what Rav Nosson points out. So again, the verse reads, Vayikatz Yaakov mishenato vayomer. So Yaakov woke up from his sleep and he said the following, Achen yesh Hashem b'makom hazeh v'anochi lo yadati. Behold, Achen, Hashem is to be found in this place. Okay, v'anochi lo yadati. This place being the Keter. I now have found Hashem in the Keter. Yesh Hashem b'makom hazeh, and I'm aware of this. V'anochi lo yadati, and I didn't know. Look how Rav Nosson reads this. Rav Nosson is amazing. Rav Nosson is going to read the verse totally opposite the way you would normally understand the verse. So he said, the end of the verse said, Yaakov said, right? Behold, Hashem is here, and I didn't know. Because like Rashi says, if I would have known, I wouldn't have slept here. So Rav Nosson read like this. V'anochi lo yadati, and I didn't know. Ze bechinat tachlit hayedi'ah de la neda. This is the concept of that the goal of knowledge is to know that you don't know. De lo neda. The highest level of wisdom is the awareness that you don't know. That's amazing. You would think new wisdom is an advancement to know knowledge, more knowledge. The accumulation of all knowledge, according to the Torah, is to realize how much you don't know. And you end always off with emunah. Emunah is the ending point. The goal of knowledge is that you don't know. That's what he's saying here. When Yaakov Avinu said, and I didn't know, so no sense connecting it to what Rabbi Nachman says in the lesson. That idea of knowledge is to know that you don't know. And that's the goal. In other words, the way to perceive Hashem is specifically, it comes to a person through not knowing. Through not knowing, that's how you come to know further and further. It's always a cycle that never ends. Every time you go up a level, the way to go up is you have to take on the attitude, and it should be fully inside of you with emunah, that I don't know. And through the not knowing, Hashem allows you to advance and yes, to perceive Him. This is the greatest of the wisdom of the Jewish people of the Torah, as opposed to the world. The world, their whole accomplishment is through knowledge and knowledge. He's an accomplished psychologist and a professor and a chemist and a scientist. It's all through knowledge and knowledge and knowledge. By Judaism, it's the opposite. That your knowledge is advanced so high, and you realize, I don't know. And you go into that mode of emunah, of not knowing, and dafka, that's how the sages know. Okay? It's like the famous Rashi, where when Hashem told Moshe and Aaron for one of the commandments, the 10 commandments, so they were embarrassed from each other. So he said, Moshe said to Aaron, you teach me how to do this. And Aaron said, you teach me how to do this. And it says, Rashi says, the dibur came from both of them. Because of their humility, and they say, I don't know how to give this over. So through both of them came forth the dibur, the speech of the prophecy to give over to the Jewish people. Specifically through not knowing and taking on an attitude of anava, of humility, and making yourself like you don't know. That's how you come to know. That's unique by the Torah and the Judaism and Am Yisrael. Okay? So אנכי לא ידעתי, זה בחינת תכלית הידע דלא נדע. שהיא בחינת המקום. Okay? שהיא בחינת המקום, בחינת כתר. One more time. אנכי לא ידעתי, knowledge and not knowing, שהיא בחינת תכלית הידע שלא נדע, שהיא בחינת המקום. To explain. This attitude of coming to know how much you don't know and then going into the not knowing mode is another term for the keter. Because what the keter does to a person is it bounces the person back. You're pushed back. Push back means, what's going on? It's like pulling the carpet from under your feet. What happened? I don't know how to decipher and interpret what happened in my life. You don't know what happened. You say, whoa, what just happened? And you have to resort to emunah. You have to resort to not knowing. Okay? That is the level of the keter. And Rabbi Nachman calls the keter the name called the makom. That's a reference to Hashem. The place of Hashem is beyond the level of keter. Meaning, the way to perceive Hashem is you must go into not knowing mode. By the way, another insight in the famous Gemara and Chagiga of the Arba'a Shenichnesu lePardes, the 4 sages who went into paradise. That was Ben Azai, Ben Zuma, Acher, Elisha Ben Avuya, Rabbi Meir Balanes's Rebbe, and Rabbi Akiva. The only one who came in and out normal and safe and still righteous was Rabbi Akiva. Ben Azai Hetzitz V'Nifga, Ben Zuma Hetzitz V'Amet. One went crazy, one went nuts. Acher fell off the path. He became an atheist, Chas Shalom. He became a denier. And Rabbi Akiva Nichnas B'Shalom V'Yatza B'Shalom. And the Gemara says there, how Rabbi Akiva's attitude was that he went on with not knowing. He saw something. He saw the angel Metat sing on Hashem's throne, and he wasn't befuddled by it. He wasn't thrown off the path because of that. He took it to emunah. I don't understand what I'm seeing, and with that not understanding, that's he was able to go and come back and receive from what he experienced. To receive from it, not I don't know. The not knowing allowed him to appreciate and understand and internalize what he did see. Okay. So the makom, which is the place of Hashem, is called tachlit hayediah delo neda. Knowing, the goal of knowing is to not know. That's called the makom. So going back, zed bechinat tachlit hayediah delo neda, shu bechinat hamakom, which is another term, bechinat keter. Like we said, it's another term for this level called the keter, which Rav Nosson is going into all the terms Rabbi Nachman uses expressing the keter. One, it's called the makom, the place of Hashem. Number 2, it's called the crown. Number 3, it's called the misader and meyashev. It's the faculty of the brain to make structure and organization and to be settled. It's one thing to internalize wisdom, and it's a greater thing to organize it and settle the mind in order to properly utilize all the information, all the wisdom coming in. So you need this faculty of Meseder Miyashev, but it can only happen if a person takes a break from absorbing and internalizing all the Torah that he's learning. He needs a break, which is that what the Keter does. It puts him in a mode of not knowing, so then you have to stop. And when you stop, you have to take care of your inventory to make organization of the wisdom that you have already and settle the mind so you can appreciate it. Shehi bechinat ha-me'akev. Rabbi Nachman also calls all these terms the me'akev, the boundary, the wall that pushes back a person. Okay? So Rav Nosson is saying that when Yaakov Avinu said, and I didn't know, he woke up from his sleep and he said, behold, Hashem is to be found in this makom. And he's saying, and how did I come to this? Because I held on the attitude of not knowing, that's how I can perceive how, behold, Hashem is here. Hashem's in this makom, the makom which is something which is ungraspable. It's the keter. You can't grasp there. And yet he's able to say a piece of wisdom. Behold, Hashem is here. Yes, Hashem, there is Hashem here. You can only say Hashem is here if it's an absolute concrete piece of awareness and knowledge. So he's making that statement, and yet it's the makom. It's two opposites. Makom is the term for the keter, and it's called knowing is not knowing. And yet he's saying something which is concrete that I know. Behold, Hashem is here. How do you know? I know. I can see it. How did he come to that? Because of the prerequisite. He made himself into Vanochi lo yadati. Rav Nosson's reading the verse that the Seifa causes the Resha. The end of the verse is the reason for what happened in the beginning of the verse, where he said, Hashchain yesh Hashem b'makom hazeh. Okay? And I didn't know is how I came to realize this. That's Rav Nosson's amazing how he's reading the verse. Okay, one more time. ועל-ידי זה דייקה עיקר השגת אלוקותו על ידי הקעת הרדיפה בהמעכב כנזכר לעיל. And like we said over and over again. And through this specifically is the way, the main essential way that a person can perceive godliness, which is perceiving the makom, the God, the infinite light, through the hitting, the haka'ah of the running of the person's mind, his intellect to perceive, bumping into and running into the keter, which is called the ma'akev, the boundary pushing him back, which causes him to not know, and he accepts it, okay? So going back, V'zeu shamar Yaakov, and this is what Yaakov said. This is what he meant when he said, Achen, yesh Hashem b'makom hazeh, v'anochi lo yadati. Behold, there is Hashem to be found in this place, in the keter, this one, v'anochi lo yadati, and I didn't know. So like Rav Nosson is going over, Shedaika al yedei v'anochi lo yadati, because specifically through what he said, and I didn't know, because I've had the attitude of not knowing, and I'm holding on to that, which is the attitude necessary for the keter, accepting it properly, where he's saying I don't know, and not trying to figure it out, but accepting that I don't know and going into emuna phase. Bechinat ha'me'akev, which is the idea of the bounce back, the boundary which just pushes you back so you don't know, mentioned above earlier. Aridei ze daika hisakti ata elukuto ki yesh Hashem b'makom hazeh. Through specifically that I don't know, taking on that attitude, I'm able to perceive now Hashem's godliness, that yes, Hashem b'makom hazeh, there is Hashem to be found in this makom. I'm perceiving something which is unperceivable. Yaakov is saying, I'm connected to something which is beyond intellect, and yet I'm perceiving it. How could it be? Because I'm holding on to the attitude of I don't know, emuna mode. Ki dalka ayedei me'akev v'chinat meni'at hayedi'ah ad she'ityashev, because specifically through the bounce back, the boundary of the keter, which causes the lacking, the obstacle to knowing, to knowledge, until the mind is settled, okay? Which means I'm not knowing. Specifically through taking that attitude and accepting it with emunah and simcha, specifically through this, that's how we perceive the infinite light of Hashem, which is the goal, as mentioned above. So again, the verse reads like this. Vayikatz Yaakov mishenato, and Yaakov woke up from his sleep. Okay? And it's just a point. Rashi says, if he would have known that there's such a holy place, he wouldn't have slept. But Hashem brought him to sleep because, like we said earlier, sleep is the concept of going into the exchange chambers, going davka into the domain of darkness, of unclarity, of not knowing. So Yaakov went into that mode of sleep mode, which is the world, the realm of evil, the realm of the exchange chambers, where also there applies knowing is not knowing. So the not knowing attitude is, in a sense, a reconnecting to the exchange chambers, which is necessary. So Yaakov woke up from his sleep, and the sleep was needed for him to experience this. Only in sleep mode could he have had this experience. That's why the Torah is telling us, and he woke up from his sleep. It was specific because he slept. If he wouldn't have slept, this wouldn't have happened. He would never had the dream of the ladder and Hashem's promises of what's supposed to happen and to give him the perspective of life. It would never happen that. It happened specifically because he went to sleep. That's how it is in life. You're pushed in sleep mode. You're always trying to do, you want to do good, you want to learn and daven and get up midnight and be connected and feel that connection and you feel they're just pushing you back. They're pushing you back. It's dafka because they're pushing you back, and when they're pushing you back is when you have the prerequisite to perceive the greatest steps way above you and way forward. You can only connect to them through the sleep mode. The sleep mode. So now Yaakov woke up from the sleep mode. Even Yaakov, as great as a tzaddik as he was, he also had to resort to sleep mode, which is the exchange chambers. We said it's 1/60th of death. Idea of tasting impurity and darkness, going to that world. You would think Yaakov is such a holy tzaddik. Yoshev Ohalim. He's always dwelling in the tents of the Torah. So, what is such a tzaddik need this? Even a tzaddik needs that. Okay, and it's a message for all of us who we are definitely going through sleep mode most of our days, right? So Yaakov Mishanot, he woke up finally from the sleep, and he was able to make the following statement: Behold, Achem, there is Hashem to be found in the makom, which is the keter, which is beyond the grasp. It's the intellect of the infinite light, which is beyond grasp. He was able to say, behold, Hashem is to be found in this place. And how did I come to this? V'anochi lo yadati. And I didn't know. Because I didn't know, which is sleep mode, that's the shena. Because I was in the mode of not knowing, that's how I was able to perceive this. On a deeper level, okay? I think Hasidic commentaries, they say like this, that one of the things Yaakov saw, at the top of the ladder, was the heavenly throne, the Kisei HaKavod. Like Rashi says in the Chumash, he saw the heavenly throne. And what's the heavenly throne made up of? 4 images: Aryeh, Chruv, Nesher, and Yaakov. Okay, the lion, the face of a lion, the face of the cherubim which were on, coming up next week's Parsha Truma, on the ark you have the kruvim, the little angels, the wings of the faces of little kids. They're like kruvim. Okay, Nun is Nesher, the eagle, and Yud is Yaakov. So watch this. Vaikatz Yaakov mishenato, and Yaakov woke up from his sleep. Vayomer, and he said the following: Achen, wow, in the levels of Aleph, Chaf, Nun. The word is behold, right? Achen, it means behold, but it's also a indicator to the 3 of the 4 images that Yaakov saw on the chariot. Achen is Aryeh, Chruv, Nesher. Achen, in the levels of Aryeh, Chruv, Nesher, in that attitude, we're going to explain this soon. Yesh Hashem b'makom hazeh. In Aryeh, Chruv, Nesher, I can perceive Hashem in this keter, in the makom. I can see Hashem. I'm now not in a not knowing mode. I'm in knowing, even though I'm on Aryeh, Chruv, Nesher. I'll explain soon. And how did I get to this? V'anochi, by doing Aryeh, Chruv, Nesher, Yaakov, because he saw his image on the face, okay? Through Anochi, lo yadati, to explain. They say in the Kabbalistic works that the 4 images on the divine chariot parallel the 4 levels of existence in this world, the 4 dimensions, which is from top to bottom, Atzilut, Biriya, Yetzira, Asiya, bottom to top, Asiya, Yetzira, Biriya, Atzilut, okay? Each of these 4 correspond to one of these images. So they say the Aryeh, the lion, corresponds to this world of Asiya, this physical world. And the beginning point of the physical world is the beginning of the morning. That's why the rabbis were very precise when they said that a person would wake up in the morning, yitgaber ka'ari. A person should wake up with strength like a lion, like a ari, in order to get out of bed in the morning. Why like a lion? Because the first dimension of the four worlds corresponds to the aryeh. You need strength like an aryeh to fight in this physical world of asiyah to serve Hashem. You can't just sit back and expect things to happen. You got to work hard. You got to kill yourself. That's the only way to really serve Hashem. If you expect, I just want to live status quo and be comfortable, and like that to learn your daf yomi and have your family and your parnasa and you have your Shabbos and everything, and it just being comfortable, and you never go out of your comfortable zone, you won't make it. You won't make it to the next world. You'll be stuck in the world of asiyah. You need the lion to fight in the world of asiyah. Kruv, which has now wings, okay, but it's half karav, it's like a child, and it's also wings. So that's the world of above Asiyah is Yetzirah, the world of formation, Yetzirah, to shape, okay? Won't go into details, that's more Kabbalistic, okay? The third world is the Nesher, the eagle, for the world of Bria, because the eagle flies high and is able to see the Bria, the creation, the formation of the creation in general. It's a greater perspective. And then finally, Yaakov Avinu is Atzilut, the highest one, okay? Atzilut is the level which is already touching to the Keter. Okay, so Yaakov Avinu is saying here that in order for me to connect to the Keter, I need all four levels. So he said Anochi, Aryeh, Nun is an Esher, Chruv, it's not in the exact order, of course, and then Yaakov. I need all four levels to be there, and in all four, which is including Yaakov, to say Lo Yadati, now I'm connecting by not knowing. When you accept the not knowing mode, so when you go back from the level of Atzilut, which is the fourth level, close to the Keter, which represents Yaakov, so in Aleph Chaf Nun, then that's where the awareness takes place. In other words, the awareness of godliness, of advancement, specifically takes place when you step backwards. So he said, Achen, behold, which also means in the three worlds of Asiyah, Yetzirah, Bria, not Atzilut, but the lower three, in Aleph Chaf Nun, Yesh Hashem b'makom. I'm able to see Hashem in His place, and then b'makom hazeh, this place of the Keter, I'm able to perceive it, even though I've stepped back from the Yud, from Yaakov. I'm stepped back. There's no da'at, there's no yediyah, there's no awareness. Okay, how did I get to that? Anochi lo yadati. Because when I reached Anochi, and I was at the highest spitz of perception in my life, I made myself and accepted the lo yadati, I don't know, and from not knowing, that's how I came to perceive. So this Rav Nosson is saying is a basic tenet of all life, that the way to perceive Hashem in advance is those emunah times of life, those setbacks where you have to resort to emunah. A Jew is ping pong, like the ladder, olim yordim, going up and down the ladder. That's how it is. Everything Judaism is, just like in university, you study and study and study and you get your degree, you're wrong. The purpose of Torah study is to reach a higher level of emunah, and emunah then pushes you back because you're now aware how much you don't know, you don't understand, and Hashem makes scenarios in life that you can't figure them out, and you have no choice but to set aside the da'at and use emunah in order to face these challenges. This is your key to coming to further awareness. Thank you for joining.